the people who were watching the programme tended to identify with the companions. That's why they were there. And you tended to latch onto the companions because they were very often more people, more of your own age or nearer your own background than the Doctor was.
Yeah. So there's an association. Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, people do... You're a founder member of the fan club, aren't you?
That's right.
How long has it been running?
Well, again, about 20 years. I think what happened is that most of the people were about 4 or 5 when the show started in '63, and by 1976 we were all hitting critical mass. You know, we were all sort of 15, 16, and finally started organising things, and it started then.
Why couldn't you settle for girls or football or, you know, why?
Because the Doctor's more interesting than girls. To touch on what they were saying, I think the thing about the show is it's an action-adventure series. Obviously, there are lots of those on television, but Doctor Who has always had an oddball quirkiness, eccentricity.
Yeah.
He's a non-conformist. How many times has he been in a situation where he's said or done something absolutely outrageous, and you just wish that you could have been there and done that, rather than doing the sort of, yes. Well.
Yes, so it's I wish. Now, I mean, there's also things go on, and you'll tell us about, you've got like conventions and conferences, but also you collect things, don't you?
That's right, yeah.
Perhaps Nikki and Christian could just give us a little... These are your costumes, yes?
That's right, I bought them at auction. Since 1990, when the show stopped being made over here, everything started to get broken up.
Give us a 12, that's it, go
The
on.
BBC auctioned off quite a few of the costumes, so these are original ones. Nicky on the left is wearing John Pertwee's original coat from his first season.
Yeah.
The shirt actually is obviously a replica, but the coat is original.
Yeah. And what do you pay for that, by the way?
About £1,500.
You paid 1,500 quid for that?
Yeah.
To the BBC?
Well, yeah, via the auction. Yeah.
They're sharper than I thought, the BBC.
Tom's, which Tristan is wearing, again is original, and that's worth even more. I mean, people laugh and say, why are you doing it?
It's Tom Baker, just remember.
Yeah, Tom Baker. Occasionally, something really quirky and interesting came out of the show. The guy who designed that left the BBC afterwards and has since designed 2 Oscar-winning films, The Last Emperor and Dangerous Liaison. So, in years to come, people laugh, say you've spent a lot of money, but they're appreciating in value even now. I've been offered 2, 3 times what I paid for them already.
Really?
Yeah.
So, but they just hang in your house normally, I mean, or you tour around convention things, yeah. Well, if you do what you like with your money, I suppose, it's up to you. Who else has got stuff like this? Hand up anybody else who collect? Andy, what do you collect? You're the spokesperson, aren't you?
I'm the spokesman.
This association, I mean, it's worldwide, isn't it?
Yes.
Just tell us how far it spreads.
We have members all over the world, really.
Yeah.
It's
big in America.
Big in America, big in Australia.
Yeah,
and here they're the main 3.
Because they still play it on American TV.
Yes,
Still
yes,
show it
on
on America.
PBS, certainly.
On the
PBS,
PBS, which is a sort of public service channel, isn't it?
The BBC 2 of America.
That's right, yeah, and it gets watched by significant numbers of people.
Yes, it's subscription television,
yeah.
And they always seem to manage to raise the money for Doctor Who.
Yeah, and in Australia too?
Australia too, it's very big.
A worldwide out, it's quite astounding. Yes, sir?
What I can't understand is that the BBC is still making a lot of money from the royalties and all the things they're still selling to a lot of fans around the world, and they dropped it. Why did they drop it?
Well, I think... only they can tell you. The ratings dropped, didn't they? I mean,
Because they moved it from Saturday to a Wednesday night.
It was put on against Coronation Street, wasn't it? Am I right to think?
I don't think the BBC wanted it.
Dipped to about 4 million, and BBC, who don't concern themselves with ratings at all, of course, they took it off. Yeah. Right. But what do I know? It can dictate people's lives, can't it? Where's David? You're David. Now then, you're a fan?
Yeah.
Yeah. How old were you when you started?
Well, I can't remember when I first started. My parents say I used to watch it when I was 2, 3 years old, but I first remember watching it when John Pertwee was the Doctor.
Was he your favourite?
No, I actually preferred Tom Baker. Well, I think when you're about 14 is usually about when your critical point is for which is your
Why
Doctor.
did you prefer Tom to John?
Because he was stranger, I think. John Pertwee was very much sort of part of the establishment.
Yeah.
Tom Baker was this real nutter who would just upset people.
You're talking about the character he played now, by the way.
Well, I'm not sure from some of the things.
No, we're talking about the character, Tom. I'm certain we're talking about the character. Yeah.
And I just liked the way he could really... everything centred around him. He'd walk into a room and suddenly he was the centre of attention to say 1 or 2 things, and you could see through all the rubbish that was going around, and he was just this outlandish, weird, eccentric character, very British.
Yeah. Now, I mean, this has sort of been a part of your life because you've remained a fan, and it also dictated your career, I gather.
Well, to an extent, yes. I mean, as I say, I started watching when John Pertwee was the Doctor, and of course he was a scientific advisor to UNIT, the military at the time. and my job now is as a scientific advisor to the military.
And this is no coincidence, really, is it?
Oh well, I didn't actually go along to my school career officer and say I want to fight Daleks every day. I think Doctor Who was supposed to be an educational program when it started out, and it got me interested in science. I followed that through, and eventually, like I say now, I do work providing scientific advice to the military.
And secretly, you're pretending to be Doctor Who, aren't you?
I'm trying to get my PhD, so people will have to call me the Doctor then. Yeah. The worrying thing is, some of the people I work with are probably all gathered around having a good laugh at me right now.
Yeah. Oh, I can't imagine that. No. No.
If there's any aliens invading, I'm going to throw these people at them first because they'll scare the hell out of any Daleks.
Is there anybody else in the audience whose career is... Yes, Andrew over there?
Exactly the same. When I was 6, they asked me, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I said, I want to be a scientist, a doctor like the Doctor. And that's what I did.
Yeah, you're a scientist, are you?
PhD chemist, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You don't go in the kit. I mean, you go...
I tend not to, no.
Right. You're a fan? No, this is quite astounding. How old are you?
9.
You're 9 now. When did you start being a fan, Reece?
5.
When you were 5. OK. How were you a fan? Because it's not on the telly anymore. Where did you see it?
Well, I've got videos and I taped it and I got my dad to get Sky, so I've got loads of videos.
Oh, I see. So you taught your dad into copying up for Sky, did you?
Yeah, and he got it.
Just to see Doctor Who? Because he still plays on Sky, does he, man? I don't know. Is he still sure? You don't know? No.
UK Gold.
UK Gold. Oh, thank you, Nick. Thank you very much.
We even had to go on holiday one year to the Isle of Wight. I think it was about 3 years ago, because they had a Doctor Who exhibition.
Really?
Yeah, so we had to book our holiday there.
What was it like, this exhibition?
It was fun and they gave me this free 30th anniversary badge.
Oh, I see. That's smashing. And you've collected all the stuff. You see, you've got your Doctor Who T-shirt, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty good. Yeah.
And some books and...
And who have we got here? Who are the models?
this is Ace.
Yeah.
And this is Sylvester McCoy.
Oh, Sylvester, yes.
And Tom Baker.
And Tom Baker, yeah. Where are we taking these, girl? No. Oh, I'm on. There we are. Right. There's Sylvester and Tom Baker. And they're pretty good lookalikes, aren't they? So you play with these at home?
Yeah, and I've got Daleks. And this is Davros, but he's a bit broken at the back.
Oh, what happened to Davros? What happened to Davros? How did he get broken? Was it an attack?
Well, they really get easily breaked. My little sister always comes in my room and treads on them because I leave them out.
Oh, no, I know the problem.
Got them broke.
We have the same problem as the I.G.Os at our house. Yes, I know. And you got all the books as well.
Yeah.
And you read all the Doctor Who adventures. And the magazines. They're big, isn't it? There's a lot of magazines, aren't they?
Yeah, very much so. There's one official licensed one that's been going for about 16 years. Richard over there writes everything, don't you?
Where's Richard? Oh, this one. You do. It's very serious, heavy stuff. I had a glance at this the other day. It's quite...
Yeah, it started off in 1979 very much as a comic, but as the years have progressed, it's developed much more into a serious magazine, taking a more serious approach to the series, and documenting the history of it.
Yeah. Are some of you obsessed with this? Is it a bit sad? I mean, is it getting a bit serious, all this? I mean, you do take it, quite seriously, don't you?
It is a hobby.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's any worse than any other hobby.
Well, I'm not suggesting
that you have. And as with any hobby, you always get people that take it to the nth degree, and some people, they do become obsessive about it. But the vast majority of Doctor Who fans are not sad anoraks. They're well-adjusted, normal people who just happen to enjoy a very good television program.
Sure. What sort of excesses do people go to, though? When you say there are some who take it to lengths, what sort of things do they do?
Well, there are people that sort of just end up devoting their entire lives to it.
It consumes their life. That's obsession, definition of obsession.
And it becomes, goes a little bit overboard with them.
Are you one of them, sir?
Yeah.
Yes?
Well, I'm doing a music degree now, and my last essay was a 3,000 word on the incidental music in Doctor Who.
You wrote 3,000 words about the incidental music in Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it was good to write about, it was something I knew about, and it fitted in with my brief for my essay, so I thought, yeah, because I've got the CDs of music at home, I've got videos to watch, so it was easy and accessible to write about.
Good, sir, good. Yes, sir, are you obsessive about it?
To an extent. I mean, I'm in the same position as this gentleman in that what I do for my job is partly to do with the programme.
What do you do for a job?
I'm assistant editor of one of the other fanzines, Dreamwatch.
I see.
And that means I'm spending a lot of time doing my hobby. But it's also very pleasant to stop and realise that this is not a religion. It is a television programme that ran for 26 years. It's fun to look at. It's fun to document the history. It's fun to find out the ins and outs of the programme. It's not the be-all and end-all of anybody's life, or it shouldn't be.
No, but I presume some of you, most of you, have got wives or girlfriends. I mean, what would you make? Have you got... You've just come to watch the show, our show, haven't you? What do you make of this lot?
Oh, well,
How do you live with all this?
It's quite harmless, isn't it?
It's harmless.
I enjoyed it when I watched it as a child.
Yeah. What is your partner? Have you got a partner, Andrew?
Yes.
Yeah. What does she think of it?
Hates it.
She hates it.
Hates it.
Yeah.
But the whole point, what they were saying about the fan thing, if we were all football fans, no one would bat an eyelid.
Oh, my wife bats an eyelid about football. I can tell you. Yeah. Yeah, they do bat an eyelid.
But they rarely get called anoraks and freaks and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And they're buying the merchandise. Their life revolves around something that happens on a Saturday afternoon. They dress up. They've even got the scarves, same as us.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. You're writing a book about your grandpa, aren't you?
Well, fans kept writing to the family more continuously, really, asking questions and things like that. And I thought that really the best thing to do would be to do a proper biography of him. And it's called Who's There, and it's just about to be published by Virgin. But it's actually a biography of his life, showing how the rest of his career really led to him playing this character. And I like to think that part of the success of the programme was because he created such an enigmatic character.
Sure.
I mean, a lot of people obviously liked it because the lead character was an eccentric, oddball person who wasn't predictable.
And he will forever be remembered as Doctor Who, and I can guarantee, I am sure, we'll come to K9 in just a tick, I can guarantee, I'm sure, that there's lots of people at home saying, I recognise that lady, particularly without her glasses on. Yes, it is Caroline. Caroline Ford. Question is, can any of you at home remember the part she played in Doctor Who? We'll find out in a couple of ticks, don't go away.
At the new Midlands Co-op Travel Shops, you're on your way to big discounts on a great choice of getaways. We'll save you up to 18% on hundreds of big-name brochure holidays. And with guaranteed free child's places on selected holidays, you'll be on your way for less than you ever thought possible. New Midlands Co-op Travel Shops. When you see this sign, you're on your way.
Hello, love.
Hi. Oh, thanks. Woman's Weekly.
If you haven't looked at Woman's Weekly recently, you're in for a surprise. It's bigger and brighter, full of fresh ideas, and fabulous features and short stories.
You want me to change that, do you?
No. But you can change the baby if you like.
Pick it up, and it's hard to put down. So take another look at Woman's Weekly.
I'm off. You okay with everything now? And behave. Bye.
Where's my keys?
Oh, thanks.
I sort the kids out for me.
With kids, you always need a helping hand. Bachelor's Super Noodles. Twisty noodles in tongue-twistingly tasty sauces. Super Noodles, a helping hand making tea time twisty from Bachelor's.
Because we understand how a migraine feels, Migraleave was made just for migraine by a migraine sufferer. Taken early, Migraleave can quickly relieve an attack. Because we understand, Migraleave was made to stop migraine before migraine stops you.
So, your Tessers performed well, and now you're looking for a better one. Birmingham Midshires have a choice of 7. Tessers for the cautious investor. Tessers for the slightly more adventurous. And Tessers for the positively bullish. With exceptional returns of up to 9% tax-free. To find the one that suits you, call free on 0500 07 07 07 and we'll exceed all your Tesser expectations.
You seen what's going on in farm foods? Well, you can hardly miss it. A Supreme Cuisine chicken and ham pie, only $1.29. That's value any way you slice it. 2 chicken curries with rice. Yes, 2 of them for just 99 pence. Worth the double take, eh? And an Alabama fudge cake for 99 pence. No wonder they sing, look away. Any way you look at it, the difference is obvious.
Farm Foods. To save you money, we stick to the things you like.
Have you ever lost your temper and done something completely out of character? Maybe you went berserk or had a fit of jealousy. Did you take your anger out on your partner and attack them only to regret it later? Perhaps you get angry over the smallest things and you can't contain yourself. Has this got you into trouble? Maybe you've been on the receiving end of someone's temper and think they should learn self-control. Did you used to have a violent temper? Have you learnt to conquer it? Whatever your feelings or your story, give us a call now, 0891 700 145. That's 0891 700 145. Thank you very much, and welcome back to Norwich. We're talking to Doctor Who fans today, and if you are a Doctor Who fan, you'll recognise Carol Ann. Just remind them what part you played, Carol Ann.
I played Susan, Doctor Who's granddaughter.
And that was in at what period?
Well, it was the first 18 months of it, from
very start.
1963 until the middle of 64.
Had you any idea when you went into the part how big this was going to be?
Absolutely none. No, none of us had.
Was there a
None
lot
us
of
had.
competition for the part?
I believe there was. I've
Yeah.
since heard, yes, there was a great deal of competition.
Did you enjoy it?
While I was doing it, I absolutely loved it. I loved the people I was working with. And it was very exciting.
Yeah,
Very
and
exciting.
you must have been a major figure. I mean, you must have been sort of, you know, walking down the street and people chasing you for autographs and things. I mean, it was a
Yeah.
big series, wasn't it? Watched by
absolutely.
millions of
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
Mm.
So 18 months you were in it. How do you get on? You got on, well, you obviously knew her grandpa.
Yes, I did.
He was your lead actor.
He
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
And you had good fun. Did you, I mean, what did it do to your career?
Practically finished it off.
Did it really?
I had a very thriving career before I played this part.
Yeah.
And I
We've
was...
got some pictures of you, I can tell you. I
Oh,
hope they don't
right.
embarrass you. I'm sure they won't. I'm
Okay.
sure you just love it. We'll see in a minute. They'll pop
All
up in a
right.
minute. Okay. Anyway, before... There you are. That's it. That's you. Yeah,
I'll
on
have
the
to put my
set.
glasses on
No,
just now.
you're down there. That's you.
I'm there.
Yeah. There with the Dalek.
Ah, yes. Now, that's with William Russell.
Yeah.
And he was my teacher in the series. He played Ian. And...
Oh, there you
yes,
are.
there's me doing the very first one. That was Unearthly Child. That was the very first
Yeah.
Doctor Who. There's me being brilliant, of course,
Of
in
course.
front of a mathematician.
But despite your brilliance, it slayed you, really, career-wise?
Yep.
Yeah, because you were cast in that role.
Absolutely.
And everyone knew you as that.
Yeah,
that
and the
was it.
trouble is, you see, I was playing a 15-year-old. I'll take my glasses
Yeah.
off now. I was playing a 15-year-old, and a very strange, kooky sort of 15-year-old as
Yeah.
well. So it wasn't the sort of thing that I could carry on playing for the rest of my life.
How do you get out of it? How do you get out of this problem?
Well, I thought I'd found the solution. I kept away from all the things I was offered, which were 15-year-old strange girls, you know, for a long time. And then I played a prostitute 2 years after.
Dramatic change.
A dramatic change. I thought, this'll do it, this'll do it. No way. In fact, what happened, it created a terrible problem because the parents of young children who'd been watching me in Doctor Who allowed them to stay up late to watch me playing the prostitute.
But not knowing quite the...
Not knowing quite what I was going to be doing in it,
Uh-huh.
and were absolutely furious. And I got these letters from people saying, how dare you play these parts? How dare you? My children are watching you. You know,
Staggering.
I'm only an actress.
You were in it too, exactly. You were just an actor too. What part do you play, Mike?
I was Ben Jackson in the last 12 episodes of Bill Hartnell and the first 20-odd of Pat Troughton.
Oh, Patrick Troughton.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I remember Patrick too. Yes, he was number 2. So how was it for you? Did you enjoy it?
Especially with Patrick, yeah, because it was such a difference. The whole atmosphere changed. He was a very zany character and actor. And so it was a great pleasure to work with him.
Did it blight your career?
No, I went on to do Crossroads.
Did you? I passed no comment at all. No. I passed no comment at all. But it was a very successful series. And how long were you in Crossroads?
No, I only did 21 episodes.
You did 21 episodes. But you enjoyed your time on Doctor Who. I mean,
I
just,
loved it.
Do you still work? Do you still get money
yes.
from it? I mean,
Oh, yes, you still get repeat fees.
You get repeat
Yeah.
fees for when it goes out in the States and
When
Australia?
they sell it in Australia, yeah.
Do you get invited to these conventions and conferences?
I've just come back from Chicago, big one in Chicago.
Oh, and you go in the part, do you? I mean, you go out there...
No.
No, but you go out to talk to the fans...
That's right, yeah, and answer their questions.
And what sort of questions they ask you?
Why did you say that line to Polly in episode 6 or 7?
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Yeah.
And you can't remember 30 years ago.
No, but, I mean, you get paid for doing this, or
Oh,
you get a
yes.
nice
Oh,
trip
yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. money for a rope, isn't it, really? I mean, why not? Now then, we better introduce K9 before we move on, and our friends Richard and Tony here. I mean, Richard, just for the benefit of people outside the Norfolk area, just tell me who you are.
My name's Richard Crowist. I'm a continuity announcer here at Anglia.
Yes, you are. You're the man who announces the programme, The Voice. This is the face behind The Voice. Right, you're also a Doctor Who fan.
Yes.
And this K9's yours?
He is indeed.
So you better introduce the fellow next to you to explain how this guy came to be here too.
Well, I'm feeling a bit embarrassed about this, really, because this is Tony Harding, who designed the original, and this is just my sort of thrown-together mock-up that I made when I was 17.
But he helped you, didn't he?
Yes, I wrote to Tony in the early days of K9 being in Doctor Who. I'd completely fallen in love with the creature. So I wrote to Tony, and he very kindly sent me a photocopied set of the plans.
That's very kind of you, Tony. Did you do that for all the Doctor Who fans?
Yes. If I had £1 for every letter I've answered about K9, I could have retired years ago.
Really? Yeah? Now, so where does he stay now, Richard?
He sort of sits and gathers dust in my spare bedroom most of the time, yes.
But you're still fond of him?
Yes.
I mean, he's not going to run off anyway, do you?
Unfortunately not, no. I've never been any good with a soldering iron, so he's never done anything other than just sort of sit there.
No one, I should imagine anyone thinks it's the slightest bit odd that you have this up in your bedroom? No.
Perfectly normal.
No. Tell us about the early days, then. You were at the Beeb, anti-BBC in the early days, not right from the beginning, but fairly early on, yeah?
Yes, when I joined the BBC, I was an assistant in the special effects department, and I worked on the sort of last couple of seasons with John Pertwee. Most of my career with Doctor Who was in the Tom Baker period, although I did one with Peter Davison.
And you came up with the original design. We've got the original sketches, I think, we can show our viewers at home. Why did you decide, there we are, what made you decide to make him a dog?
Well, I was seconded to the programme because one of my colleagues was actually first involved in this particular episode, and he got bogged down with the model sequences, and they said, can you pop along to the production meeting because we'd like you to do the floor effects, which includes all the props, the space guns, all. So I went along, totally unprepared, because I hadn't even seen a script, and I explained why I was there and not my colleague, and they said, right, have you brought your drawings along of K9? And I said, well, what's K9? So they said, turn to page 13 of this script, and there it was. It's a mobile computer that is built to resemble a dog.
So it'd been written in for you, you had to make it, yeah?
Yeah.
And there he is. Now, I mean, they say in this business never work with children or animals. What was it like working with these sort of things?
Well, from that moment to when the first studio appearance was 3 weeks. So from then I had to go along and sort of devise how to make it, what kind of radio control we needed and all the rest of it. And I've got to say, at the first instance it was pretty primitive. The motor was from a children's electric motorbike, which was so noisy that you couldn't record sound when it was running. The steering was very, very primitive radio control, but we managed to get it into the studio for the first recording. And as soon as I extended the aerial on the radio control transmitter, the cameraman said, we're getting terrible breakup, you'll have to put the aerial in. So I put the aerial in. Of course, the radio control wouldn't respond properly.
So it was never
bashing into things.
It was never easy. All looked absolutely fabulous on the telly, of course. Now, you were in it too, yeah?
Yeah.
What were you?
Well, basically, I played a skinhead yob in it.
Did you?
Yeah. about 8 years ago.
That must have been difficult.
Totally typecast.
Yes.
Yeah.
How often were you in it?
I was only in it in one episode, which is the funny thing about it, is because I took it, a friend of mine called Chris Cherrin did another part as the other skinhead in it, and he got me the part on it, and I went on it just as an actor, purely just for the job. I mean, I'm obviously a Doctor Who fan like everybody else is, but the thing that amazed me about it is that it was a very small part, but people still remember me now from it. I still get stopped in the street. I've had letters from all over the world. It's sent to 65 different countries, apparently. And I've got like a fan club just for sort of like 5 lines, you know. I mean, they did in the episode.
This, I can't.
No, it's amazing. I mean, when I came last night, I mean, loads of people here will be able to tell you the lines I said, the exact part I did. It's
well, all
amazing.
right, come on then. What did he do? Who remembers?
Suspended from a tree.
I beg your pardon?
He had all his clothes removed apart from his boxer shorts and was tied upside down from a tree.
There you go. And when asked who it was, he said it was social workers. That's right, wasn't it?
Do you know all the scripts?
Yeah. I mean, I kept this guy up till 1 o'clock talking to him last night.
But this guy here,
we were all up till 1 o'clock this morning.
This is quite amazing. I've never seen anything like this in my life. We've got some people with you go to these conventions and if people like Caroline go along, you have or Tony go along, you've got questions for. Who's got a question for anybody? Any of the sort of stars or cast? All right, yes, sir. What's your question?
Question to both Carol and Michael.
Speak up a bit. Sorry.
Sorry, both to Carol and Michael. If the Americans rang you up today and said, "Would you like to reprise your role in the film?"
Yes.
Would you do it?
Yes, says Michael unequivocally. No problem. Caroline, now would you revive it?
Yeah, it depends on the script.
Oh, I see. We have to check this artistic.
Certainly not as a 15-year-old.
Oh. Right, Reese, what's your question?
It's for Tony. What was your favourite monster?
What was your favourite monster, Tony?
Oh, mine. It was one called the Malus.
Yeah.
It was kind of buried in the wall of a church. I don't know whether you remember that episode, but it burst through the wall, and we had to do a sort of big plastering exercise in the studio to hide it. And behind it, we had great big rams and things to push it through the wall. Yeah.
All right.
My favourite.
That's that. Well, you probably haven't seen that. I'm sure somebody will lend you the video. Yes, madam. What's your...
Carol.
To Carol.
Did you ever feel ridiculous playing the doctor's assistant?
Ridiculous?
Yeah.
No, never ridiculous. No. Why did I look ridiculous?
Not at all.
All right, young man there, what's your question?
It's to Carol and Ben.
Yeah. He's actually called Michael. All right, yeah. He's Ben on the show, yeah?
How did you feel about some of your early work being trashed by the BBC?
You mean rubbish? You mean thrown away?
It was burnt.
Burnt, yeah. Or lost. Well, it wasn't recorded in the early days, was it?
Yeah.
Well, we were all recorded.
But it got wiped. The tapes got wiped.
Oh, they got wiped? Yeah.
It's unfortunately, we're missing the residuals.
Yes.
Repeat.
That's the makers, and I don't blame you. Right, anybody else got a question? Right, yes, sir, on the back. What's your question? Who's it for?
Carol, how long normally did it take back at the beginning to film an episode of Doctor Who?
Well, we rehearsed for a week, and we filmed it for one day. But it didn't actually film it for one day. Of course, we went into the studio for one day. Yeah. But the actual filming, I mean, it was like doing a live show.
Which
it was
this
just
is.
a play.
And which explains why I've got to say thank you all very much indeed. Yes, thank you all very much. Fascinating experience for me. Absolutely wonderful. Right, I hope you enjoyed it.